Then you get down the bowl, kick off your shoes and you throw them on the floor. Dance in the kitchen till the morning light, Louisiana Saturday night.
And
hello and welcome to AGK Media. It's Hump Day and I'm Shelley Carney.
Yonder come a kinfolk in the moonlight, Louisiana Saturday night. Well, you get down the fiddle and you get down the bowl, kick off your shoes and
I'm Toby Younis. Thanks for joining us tonight. We got some emails to read, some text messages to read. We got some voicemails to play, and of course we'll take calls for the last part of the show. Join us. We're going to have fun tonight.
Some cowbell going on.
Uh-oh. Guess what day it is? Julie. Huh? Julie. Guess what day it is? Julie. Huh? Julie. Mike. What day is it, Mike? Come on, I know you can hear me. Anybody? Huh? Woo-hoo! Mike. What day is it, Mike? Anybody? Julie. Huh? Julie. Hey, guess what day it is? Julie. Oh, come on, I know you can hear me. Mike. What day is it, Mike? Leslie, guess what today is?
It's Hump Day.
Woo-hoo! Hump Day.
Yeah, because we believe it is. How are you doing, Miss Shelley?
Super.
Good evening. Did you get your afternoon errands run?
I did. We got groceries and put them away. And
I did my doctor's appointment. It was good. I got to go back tomorrow for a brace, though.
yeah, they did x-rays, you said?
Yeah.
Crazy. Like you had a broken arm or something.
Well,
Did they look at your thumb and kiss the boo-boo?
No, but I wish she had, because it sure was a cute doctor.
What about me?
You can't be my doctor.
But I'm cute. Do I get a song?
Yeah, you do. You do get a song.
Cause girls like you, and all the guys like me. The sundown when I come through, I need a girl like you. Yeah, girls like you, love and get me too. What I want when I come through, I need a girl like you. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't say I need a girl like you, because everybody takes that wrong.
Who cares what they think?
Oh, is that how we're going to be like? Who cares what the
Who
heck?
cares? Think what you want to think.
All those priests and nuns could think.
Housekeeping, you want towels?
Because you need towels. Stick with us. Make sure before you leave tonight you like this video, because YouTube likes it when you like our videos. And share it with your family, your friends, your next door neighbors, your business associates, and everyone on your social networks.
And Christmas list.
And Christmas list, because YouTube, because that's what I forgot that part of my life. Oh, because that's how we our channel. And finally, last but not least, if you're not already a subscriber, this would be the ideal time to subscribe.
Cha-ching.
And once that notification bell, is that a cha-ching?
Oh, maybe it's a da-ding.
Once that notification bell pops up, click on the notification bell, and that way every time we announce or start a live stream, you will be immediately informed, and thereby
You'll be in the loop.
in the know.
In the know.
Oh, jeez.
And the loop.
We got to work on this more,
Looping the know.
More rehearsals.
Knowing the loop.
More rehearsals.
We don't do this enough already.
Yeah, no kidding.
Guess what?
What?
I got a fever.
You
do?
And the only prescription is more cowbell.
Woohoo!
We got
Cows
some
in the
cowbell
house.
for you tonight. Okay, so here's the plan for this evening. We're going to read some emails that we got. Maybe add some commentary to them. Who knows? Then we'll go back to the room, say hi to everybody in the room. Wow, there is already 107 people in the room. That's a pretty busy room tonight.
Yeah. It was busy
So
earlier today,
if you
too.
weren't around for this afternoon show, we had a great time this afternoon, because we got to talk about one of the solutions, one of the theories that we had attempted, and got through the first 7 clues in that theory, and we were doing pretty good. I mean, I think I may just have to go back there just to make sure, not that I'm searching. I'm not searching. I don't want you to think I'm searching, because I'm not searching. I just need to go back there to kind of validate this whole thing.
Make sure it's still there.
Make sure it's still there. Yeah. Yeah. Make sure the treasure is still there. If it is, I will tell everybody that it's still there. Gonna validate. And then we'll take a break, come back, say hi to everybody in the room, play some music for you guys. And then after that, we've got a bunch of text messages. and then we'll and some voicemails, including a voicemail from George. Actually, hang on. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 voicemails from George, but I'm only going to play.
And Toby did something special to his phone, so maybe we won't even have those beeps going on anymore.
Yeah. So it turns out you can't do call waiting. You can't disable call waiting on iOS anymore. I had to go into the Verizon store and then talk to their tech specialist on the phone to get them to turn off my call waiting. So maybe we won't hear the beeping tonight. We didn't do it this afternoon, but that only maybe because we didn't get some calls waiting. But we should know tonight. So if tonight you call and I don't answer, it's not because I don't like you. Although there are a couple of people I don't like. It's
but
because
you know who you are.
it's because it's call waiting doesn't work anymore, so I don't even know, and it's going to go straight to voicemail. Leave a voicemail, we'll play the voicemail. The only bad thing about playing the voicemail, did you put your headset in? Yeah. So you will be able to hear all of this.
I can hear.
Okay, so Shelley typed up her list of people who are going to find the treasure this summer. So if you are one of those... Oh, by the way, I have to say something. So this afternoon we kept saying if you want to text us or if you want to comment and you want us to see it, make sure you write @AGK_media. Well, last night I had a wild hair because I was just having a good time. We were in good space. And I changed our name back to A Gypsy's Kiss. So it's not AGK Media anymore as of last night.
Now I have to type out the whole thing?
Yeah, you got to type out the whole thing. So you have to type out space
or
Gypsy's.
Just text is probably easier at this point.
Or just text, yeah.
You changed everything back?
Yeah, I did. I went back to our old logo and our old name.
Okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Don't even ask me.
No, well, it's one of those things where it's 2 o'clock in the morning. What am I going to do? Call you?
Wait till I get here.
I guess I could do that. But it's something that I would say there's an obsession with it. Or a compulsion. Compulsion that I have to, it has to get taken care of. So I'm sorry. It's obsessive compulsive behavior. Forgive me, my darling. Okay, who's reading first? You have anything interesting?
We play the video first.
Oh, we got to play the video. Heck yes, we're going to play the email video. There we go.
All right.
So Greg found out he tried A Gypsy's Kiss and it came out.
Figured it out. All you got to type in is @A space and it should
from Rochester, New York. I used to do an annual talk up at the Rochester Institute of Technology on photography, and during a period when we were making the transition from film to digital. So I used to go. I've been to your town. Wasn't it the home of Kodak? Wasn't Kodak there as well? But that's that's how the RIT got founded. So maybe if you went to RIT and you were there in the 90s or late 80s and early 90s, you may have seen my course, my class.
My camera love to take the photographs. So mama, don't take my Kodachrome away. All right.
She really has a pretty voice. She's just wandering around my house here singing. She's really pretty because I put music on in the background when we're working, and she just sings along. She has a really pretty voice.
Thanks.
Anyway, go ahead.
Here's
You're
my
first.
pretty voice reading the email. This is from Stephen Johnston, who is Alberta Searcher. Alberta Searcher here. Did you happen to give my contact info to the lady that was looking for me? I believe her YouTube name was Zuzi or something like that. I will be working long hours for the next couple of weeks, but I will catch up with all that I've missed once it slows down. P.S. I hope your dinner party went well the other day. Thanks, Stephen Johnston. The dinner party was a success.
Outstanding.
Success. We
It was
had
an
enough
outstanding
food
success.
and not too much. Well, you sent a lot of tamales home.
I did send a lot of tamales.
The cake was gone pretty quick.
Oh, the chocolate cake.
The chocolate cake.
So my favorite cake is pineapple upside down cake, and I had the local Albertson store bakery do one, and it was terrible. I had to throw it away. I didn't give it to anyone.
You forced everybody to have a bite. At least Sean and Jason, anyway.
I tasted it before I served it. Before everybody got here, and it tasted like Forrest Fenn made it. I don't know.
He probably bakes better than that.
Yeah, Forrest Fenn bakes better than that cake was. So I literally threw. Well, what happens is I put it in the the laundry room, and I put it on top of the dryer. And what happened is the kids were all curious about what the cake how it was as bad as I claimed it was. So when I went to throw it out the next morning, I opened it up, and it had been eaten away by the little rats.
So Zuzi, whoever you were, was looking for Alberta Searcher.
I think it was Zoe the cat.
No, it was Zuzi something.
Oh,
He's
was
right.
it?
Yeah, it was Zuzi something.
Well, so I wish you guys would send emails at the same time.
Yeah.
The problem is we haven't had your email at the same time. But now, if you're the person looking for Alberta Searcher...
Now he's looking for you.
Alberta Searcher is now looking for you. So send me an email, and I'll forward it. I'll forward it to Alberta Searcher. Make sure you mention your kinks so we all know what they are. So this one is from Rudy Bold Regini. Toby, dare I say... Oh, I like the way when somebody starts it. Toby, dare I say this, for I only have a working theory, but for the fun of it, please add me to your list as Rudy for a possible finder of the treasure. I have a solve that I believe fits 100% of what Forrest has said, open parentheses, clues, and other comments, close parentheses. Yes, I know that the final step of finding it is just as hard as the first clue, open parentheses, like anyone has a chance, but I would put my odds at the betting window of 20%, close parentheses. I will go out in July.
Okay.
It's a 1,500-mile trip for me. And I promise that you will be the first to hear if I have found it. Thank you. That would be kind. I'd like to be the person to be able to announce it to the rest of the world. I love listening to your programs, but have a hard time listening to your guys live. Must be a time issue. I have only been able to listen twice live, but I enjoy all of your recorded shows. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Rudy. Your name has been added to the list.
For July.
We look forward to hearing from you. Who else is in July?
J.A. Street.
We
do have some names who don't have a month. So if I read your name and you have a month that you are definitely going out and you would like to share that, then I will put you in your month. Mark Connor, Mitzi Moore, Steve Wayne, Robert Nenig, Jerry from Texas, and Casey from Idaho. If you have a particular month you're going to find the treasure, let me know.
Highlight it in the chat room. Okay. What is K-Pro telling me to play?
Play it AGK.
She said play AGK.
All right. This is from Igor. Chase Search is the title. Hey, great show, you guys.
Hey, Igor who?
Kaperchuk.
Yeah, you. Well done.
Yeah, well, I'm guessing. I believe that I have solved all the clues in Forrest Fenn's poem because all clues fall into perfect order with that place and everything just makes perfect sense. I'm leaving for the search either this week or the next week. So I wonder if he wants to be on our list.
I don't know. It sounds. He didn't say he wanted to be on the list. I believe I have solved all the clues.
We've just gotten 2 roosters in a row. I think we need to play a rooster video.
Really? Okay. Rooster video. Here it comes. Because people know where the treasure is. Oh! K-Pro means play the rooster.
Mark Connor says June. Okay, Mark Connor, I'll put you down for June.
I got that. Play that rooster. Okay, I get it now. All right, this one is entitled Where Warm Waters Halt. It's from Ron and Joanne Conley. Hi, Toby. I thought I'd drop you an email since I can never catch you in real time. How hard is it to catch us in real time? We do 4 shows a week, for God's sakes.
Well, if you're working all those times or if you're busy.
What would you say if I
People
told
have
you...
lives. Some people.
What would you say if I told you that I discovered through extensive research that a certain creek/river was once called Warm Creek in the time of the trappers and is now named something different? Question mark. I would say you're on to a good start for your solution, your theory. The location also agrees with significant hints/clues in the text part of The Thrill of the Chase. I have personally done 4 boots-on-the-ground searches following the 9 clues in the poem right down to the final location to where the blaze should be. My solve uses each of the poem's clues in total sequential concurrence so well that I have trouble believing that it could be wrong. No ciphers, no cryptography, etc. Just straight logic, poem, maps, and the thrill of the chase. I know others feel the same way about their solve, and that you are firmly in the New Mexico fish solve approach. New Mexico fish solve? Once I settled on where warm water salt, the remaining clues fell right into place. It seemed so obvious. Okay, so why haven't I found the treasure? That's because the final area of the search has 1,000 places where the blaze could be. Oh boy, we know that problem. As Fenn has stated, no one will just stumble upon it or something similar. I will be careful when you try to quote Fenn. He'll come after you. No one will just stumble. No one will just stumble upon it.
But don't quote me on that.
Don't quote me on that. No one will just stumble upon it or something similar. I will say that I did come across an object that could be interpreted as a blaze, but I didn't see anything. It wasn't what I was looking for, a white streak of limestone or maybe a petroglyph. That's what he's looking for. Maybe I'll go back to the place and look more carefully, but at my age, 78, maybe not. Wow. That's rocking and rolling for a 78-year-old. I'm being deliberately ambiguous so as not to reveal any information, but I want to influence you in that there is a high probability that it is not in New Mexico. I've been following you and everything Fenn for years and admire your intelligence and logical approach to solving the poem. One other item, Fenn has repeatedly said that no one has yet identified the key word in the poem. I believe that I have found the word, and it is wise. I won't tell you why, but it concurs with what I consider the 10th clue in Too Far to Walk that is so obvious once you see it, it's hard to deny. P.S. I was watching one of your YouTube videos and saw where you talked about St. Mary's and the Chesapeake while working in Washington. I worked as a civilian engineer for the Navy and lived in St. Inigoes, Maryland, just above the Pax River. What a beautiful area. From 71 to 74, and would drive past St. Mary's College every time I had an occasion to go to Pax River. It's the Patuxent River, but the people around the Patuxent call it Pax River. And there's a naval air station down there as well. Or up to Washington. I also did a stint in the Navy while working in Crystal City, which is near the National Airport, from 78 to 80 on the cruise missile program, and the torpedo program is down there too. It's a small world. My son, Commander Dr. Sean Conley, now works in D.C. in an important position. It's funny how things seem to go in circles. My father and grandfather both lived and worked in D.C., although I live far away. Drop me a line if you want to discuss this further. Texting and call isn't possible for me. I hope I have whetted your appetite anew and wish you well. Give my regards to Jason. We met at the JD raffle.
There's a picture of him on the next page.
Oh, I remember him. I remember the suspenders. Yeah, I don't know whether you guys can see that. That's what he looks like. That's that was at JJ's raffle drawing back in September of last year. Your turn.
All right. This person asks that we do not reveal their name, and it's entitled "My Thoughts and Feelings on the Fenn News Today." We received this yesterday, Tuesday.
Oh, that's regarding Paco Chavez.
Okay. Dear Shelley and Toby, I've been spending what free time I have trying to solve Mr. Fenn's poem and being entertained by great Fenn YouTubers such as yourselves.
Did he really say that, or are you adding on him? Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
I was shocked and appalled to see in the news that someone tried to get on his property, Fenn's property, again. I had no idea that this individual was stalking Mr. Fenn's daughter and granddaughter. I can only speak on my own behalf, but I must admit that I have sent Mr. Fenn emails that are probably not your average letters. When he never responded, it almost became therapeutic because I felt like he was listening, even if he wasn't. I probably overshared in personal life details, and in the light of today's news, maybe that was inappropriate. I can't say. In a time of technological seclusion, I guess I just felt a connection to him and his amazing life, most of it lived without the internet. If you choose to read this on your show, I would like to do two things. I want to apologize to Mr. Fenn for possibly adding to his stress load and cluttering up his email and with my ramblings. At this point, I truly hope all my letters did, in fact, end up as filtered, then deleted spam. Secondly, as someone who has spent a lot of man-hours on the chase, I want to let Forrest know that I, and I hope many other searchers at this point, would not be offended in the least if he retrieved his chest and donated it to whatever charity he wished, or simply put it back in his collection. The bottom line is that everything in that chest is still his. The only thing that belongs to the searchers thus far are the memories, mementos, camaraderie, and all the crazy, amazing, and new stuff we learned along the way. I say his hold card is still valid and always will be. Let the man have his peace if he so chooses to go that route. Personally, I will keep searching and watching you two till he ends the chase or some lucky and exhausted searcher finds it. The warmth and friendship that you two share is admirable and always a pleasure to watch. Thanks again for a great show. Well, thank you.
Thank you. What a nice thing to say.
And Mr. Anonymous.
Why is my audio off? Oh, I know what it is. Talk to me.
So I don't know that you need to apologize, but if it makes you feel better, then I'm sure Finn would appreciate that as well. That, you know, but from the letter I just read, I can't imagine that anything you wrote was over the line.
And actually, apologies just to the universe in general. Every once in a while, I look up and I apologize for all my past behaviors, and that always makes me feel better, you know. This one is from, the subject line is it real? And it's from Joe BHTB. Oh, it's a short one. I believe the search is real because Sam went looking for it. If the Fenn's grandson believes it is real enough to go looking for it himself, then I believe it's real too. As do we. I think it's real. Yeah. Sam is one of Fenn's grandchildren, and when we were at Collected Works back in November why were we there? What was November?
Fenbury.
Oh yeah, he was visiting for Fenbury. Mm-hmm. Both Shiloh, several of his grandchildren were there. One of whom was Sam. I had never seen him before, and he mentioned, much to Fenn's surprise, that he had gone looking for the treasure with his friends. So Fenn was surprised at that. He didn't know that.
Yeah.
Or he acted surprised. He could have known it and just. I believe he acted. I think he was surprised that one of his grandchildren had gone looking for the treasure.
All right. This is No Subject from Jamie Rodriguez. Jamie from Illinois. Hi, I would like to say to you, Toby, you've always seemed like a very knowledgeable person, and you seem confident in what you believe when it comes to Fenn and the poem.
I figured.
Even when people ask you questions, you almost always have an immediate answer. I can't seem to do the same. Have you ever wondered if that's why you didn't find it? I don't mean this in a rude way, but it seems like you used all the knowledge and no imagination when it came to solving clues. What would your solve be like if you had to pretend you were Fenn? I think some light has been shed by Sassy when she brought up the fact that there were 6 or 7 other people that hid treasures and kept it nearby in the same state. I do find it hard to believe he drove far. In his last 6 questions with Jenny, he was asked if he used Google Earth to see if the chest was still there, and he replied, quote, I have zoomed into the hiding place several times, but I wasn't looking for the treasure. It cannot be seen on Google Earth. The only changes to that site today are those that nature has made, unquote. I find it interesting he used the word site. Honestly, he most likely means treasure site, but what if the site is the place he Googled, so like a campsite or a place where there's a monument or where an event took place? Logic would say that in answering questions over the years he has slipped up. Also, he lets you know that at the site, humans have not changed it, but nature has. Does that mean through all time or since it was established as a site? The other thing I found interesting was that he said he hasn't been back to the treasure chest since he hid it more than 8 years ago. He says it twice in 2 different answers. Why not just say the right amount? Also, he didn't say he hasn't been back to the site, so he probably still goes there like everybody else does. Only difference is that he knows that nearby, most like 500 feet at most, is something he can see and can tell the chest hasn't been disturbed. Which brings me to my next point, that most likely you'll end up at a well-established place. He said he could go right straight to it, and that the person that solves this will do it by thinking, not searching. I hope you ponder some of these thoughts. Maybe it will spark a new idea. With so many what-ifs, I can't help but wonder how simple Fenn made it.
Is there an end to that, or he just drops off
That
at
was
the
the
period?
end.
Oh.
That was all.
Then I'm going to read it over again.
There wasn't a question.
With so many what-ifs, I can't help but wonder how simple Fenn made it.
Oh, yeah, it's much better when a man does it.
No, that wasn't a man. That was like an ending. My turn. Oh, this one's from Candy. The subject line is Candy, ellipses, Toby. Ellipses, those are ellipses right there. See? Candy,
yes,
ellipses.
dot. We know what ellipses is.
Candy, ellipses, Toby. Oh, so this is how it... Can I read this like she wrote it?
You read it however you want.
Oh,
It's
okay,
yours
all right.
to read.
It's right
It's
to
your
my
turn.
Okay.
Read it like a man.
Okay. Well, yeah, but Candy's not a man. Okay.
Read it like a woman.
Okay. So this is how it will
No,
be.
don't do that.
Okay.
That's annoying. I'll have to hit you.
Okay, so this is how it will be. You will not reply. Ha ha. You're just going to ignore me. Ha ha. Wasn't there some weird movie about that? Oh, I don't know. Well, last night I discovered 2 more clues. You know when Sassy said it would surprise us how easy some of the clues are? Well, this is so right in your face. Realize some words have different connotations. I will not tell you any more. Ha ha. By the way, they are instructions! Exclamation point. I want to change my name too. Oh, let me read that again. I want to change my name. There should be a comma in there. I want to change my name, comma, to Cowgirl. When I figure out how, you're probably not going to help. Sad face. I want it on the chats. Avoid the weirdos. Happy face, happy face, happy face. In the day. Oh, and she sent us a picture of her in the day. Okay, not too close. There we go. That's Candy in the day. She was a cowgirl. Those are cowgirl awards. Okay, whew, got through that one.
Okay, this is from Paul Oder Rubikson. We know Paul.
Mm-hmm.
He says, hi to you. Hi, you too. He actually says, hi, you too. Forrest Fenn has mentioned toothbrushes, toothbrush holders, teeth, brushing teeth, and teeth of the Rockies. I dug into this and found something called Colorado Brown Stain. It's about Frederick McKay.
Wait a minute. Wait. Oh, okay, go ahead. It just sounded bad.
Oh, a woman can't read.
No.
Make sure a man
No,
checks
no,
it out.
I knew what you were reading. It just sounded terrible.
It's about Frederick McKay, who moved to Colorado Springs, Colorado, and was shocked by the prevalence of what became known as Colorado Brown Stain Disorder, grotesque stains on the teeth of 90% of children born there. His research led to one of the greatest health results of the 20th century. It's significantly and a fixed thing that time can't change. And it's a name, so you can use capital B. Do you think this could fall into Forrest Fenn's universe as a potential home of Brown? And then he sent us an article link, starshipPediatricDentistry.com/blog/the mystery of the Colorado Brown stain and the history of fluoride. Kind regards, Paul.
You guys have everything you need to work with that one, so I'll put it aside for now. Last one, or do you have more?
No, I'm done.
This is ONX Maps on X. Oh, yeah, that's my mapping company. This is from Brad Kinzer. He says, several months ago, before you decided to stop searching for the treasure, you had mentioned that you were going to try out the OnX Maps application and see how it worked. Unless I missed something, I haven't heard you actually if you actually tried it out or not, or if you like what it was able to do. I'm still interested in the app, but I'm not ready to pull the trigger on a purchase just yet without some feedback from someone that has actually used it. Any input you have would be appreciated. Brad, I got an annual subscription to it and I still use it. As a matter of fact, we used it this afternoon when we were talking, and we'll use it again in the future. We used it this afternoon when we were talking about our Rio Chama solve theory.
That's correct. So watch earlier today's video and you'll see what it looks like.
So it has very nice layers, but the best thing about it is it's structured like the BLM maps where they have all the demarcations for property ownership. So it shows, and this afternoon we saw the Hickory Apache Reservation, BLM land, state land, private land. It has all of those on the map. And then you can print them out if you want them. So I think a 1-year subscription was like $99. And it works out about half if you try to get it on a monthly basis, as if you try to get it on a monthly basis. But like I said, I bought the annual subscription.
Kind of depends. If you're set on one area, you can just buy the BLM map of that one area. Yeah.
If you're ever in Santa Fe, you can go into the BLM office. It's at the intersection of I-25 and State Route 14 or nearby there. And they have all the New Mexico maps there, including one literally wall-sized map of the entire state of New Mexico from the BLM perspective. It is one hell of a map. I almost bought it, but realized I don't even have any place short of my kitchen floor that we could lay it out on and look at it. So, but they do have a smaller version of it, which I strongly recommend everybody get so that they can tell whether or not. And the nice thing about it is they're done in that grid system. So the blocks are, set so you can tell exactly where you were if you have a GPS, if you're on public lands or not. You don't want to be on private lands because, like Texas, they get pretty upset when you're on their land without permission. Okay, you want to say hi's?
Yes.
Okay.
So let's do our little video about saying hi to people.
We do. I have a video that does that somewhere here. Let's see. There you go. Cow.
Help from the other side.
What?
Mine only goes up to 7:12 p.m.
Oh, ratsos. Okay, let me see if I can go all the way to the top. No. Mine only goes to Mitzi.
You don't have a time on there? Mine's 7:12 p.m.
Let me see. Toggle timestamps. Mine starts at 7:13.
So, okay. Let's get started.
Okay, don't be
hellos.
offended because we can only guys.
So if you said hello at the very beginning and didn't say anything else later, then we might miss your name.
Yeah.
But Mitzi is here. Mitzi Moore. And we have Jingo Bingo. Is it true that Bigfoot was spotted in New Mexico?
Yes.
Cape Rose here.
Cape Bro.
And Charles Chapman.
Charles. Rats.
What's the thing about the rats?
I forgot to get
Other people?
Yeah.
Kurt Hensley is here. Craig Carter.
Kurt Hensley. Didn't he used to play for the Eagles?
I don't know.
Huh.
Craig Carter.
Craig Carter. Craig Carter.
It's my life, it's now or never. And I ain't gonna live
And we have Ob Ord and Davio's here.
Oh, did you get Davio? Bo Walker says he's going next week. Did he say he's getting the treasure? Bo, you're going next week and you're coming back with the treasure? Do you want us to add you to the list? So,
Bo
Mitzi.
B-E-U Walker. Gotcha.
Bo.
Cock-a-doodly-doo, says Hooli. Hooli.
Wait,
She
Hooli
gave
doesn't-
up her song,
She gave up
didn't
her
she?
song.
That's right. All righty. Let's move it up to Czar 334. Toby Fan 3000. John Werner is
Hi, John.
acting as one of our moderators. John Ito is here with a bunch of chickens. Roosters. Greg Keller and Mark Connor says he's going to find it in June, so we added his name to June. And we have Grizzly Bear. A George's Kiss, he says it should be called.
A George's Kiss. George?
We haven't kissed George. He kissed a gypsy. So there's the
I have
difference.
kissed a gypsy.
DJ Novatech says next weekend as well. So we got your name for May. And K-Pro says Cow and K-Pro finding it in June at the function.
Oh, did you put them down?
Yeah, I just put K-Pro right there and Cow. And Cow right there.
In June.
June.
At the function in the junction.
AJ Rainville's here.
Then you just need to solve. Good one.
Greg Keller says my first boots on the ground search will be in the next couple months, but not confident enough for your list, I don't think.
That's the wise way to do it.
No.
Just go little boots on the ground, never hurt anybody.
23 Monarchus here.
Hey, 23 Monarcha.
Ta-da!
Did you see what K-Pro says? And we have had 5 searchers offer to bring the treasure chest to the function and would like to be streamed live at that event.
Well, if they had connectivity, we could
If
do
they
that.
have connectivity, they have that. But there's a bunch of searchers that are bringing it to Fenbury as well. So,
Ah, I see.
because that's where they bring it every year.
And we
Brilliant
have Dev JB. Dev JB. Joel Lewicki is here.
Joel, hi Joel.
But I still haven't found what I'm looking for. But I still haven't found what I'm looking for.
We have Yellow Stoner and Jungle Cruiser. We got lots of chatter going on in the room. Lavender Blonde is here.
She's going to be a regular, isn't she?
Yeah, absolutely.
Grizzly Bear says, I need a restraining order like Fenn for Paco. That guy went back to Nevada and they arrested him. So that means he's going to serve out whatever time he had after he, what do they call it? Probation. He didn't break his probation. He violated his probation. So now he's got to go back and serve prison time. And I think it was a 3-year sentence that they gave him. So now he's going to spend it. I don't know what the prison.
Poor choices.
Yeah, bad choices. Bad choices.
Jack B. Nimble is here, and
His
he
mother
says,
didn't
you
love him.
got to have mettle enough to strike the trail. He did it tired. And now he's weak.
That's how I do it all the time, just because I'm an old guy.
Waffens Deutschland.
Jeez, where is that guy? We've got to be
Deutschland.
careful with that.
Yeah, I swear everything I read and saw in the poem fits my soul, but from Google Maps, I just feel like the location isn't the right spot.
Deutschland, Deutschland, über alles in die Welt.
Alrighty then. Copper Down, howdy.
Howdy, Copper Dan.
You've got skipping around down to the bottom here. Janet Langard's in the house.
That's who's, I forgot. Janet, I'm sorry, I forgot. I'll get it by Friday, I promise.
Oh, okay. And Paladin.
Ugh, Paladin.
Write those down. Paladin and Janet Langard. He says Fenn would have a bigger problem with the crazies if he called off the chase now.
Agreed. They would
Sassy
break
is in the
down that.
house.
Wasn't Sassy one of the ones? Sassy. Oh no! Hi, Sassy.
Missouri Dave.
Missouri Dave.
Forrest said at his age he wouldn't and couldn't retrieve it.
Yeah. The idea that he'd go back there is probably slim to none.
Then we have S.J.
Missouri Dave. I feel like Missouri Dave should be wearing one of those red sashes from the Missouri Riders days.
S.J. Kent. S.J. Kent is here.
Is he one of our searchers?
I thought I had his name on there. Kent. Yes, in June.
Yeah, a lot happening in June, huh?
Yeah.
We need to beat everybody to it then.
Okay, sure. We'll go tomorrow. That would be April then. Fubar 970.
Dev JB says, I remember my email to Toby back in like 2014 or something, LOL, pleading about Cody, Wyoming and some other nonsense. Yeah. I remember that very distinctly, Dev.
Nikolai Astrov.
Nikolai Astrov.
Excuse me, I guess I forgot the accent.
Ay, mira, que enojona.
Yeah. Lista?
Man, you have a memory like a steel trap. No, I tell you one story and...
No, I didn't tell it to anybody, though.
No, you haven't.
Toby, that's sort of about
Waffen
what
SS,
I was thinking.
It is Waffen SS Deutschland.
Yeah. What is that about?
The SS stands for Schutzstaffel.
Okay.
He hasn't done anything wrong, so I'm not going to...
McLovin's in the house. Eric Mays. Has anyone searched Elephant Rock in Cuesta, New Mexico? There's a blaze on the elephant face. Victor Fleming.
Okay, bro. I'm retracting it before I even say it.
And getting down to the bottom. McLovin's here.
McLovin.
What was the name of the movie? Super Bad.
What movie are you talking about?
Super Bad.
Oh, no, but I mean, what brought that up?
McLovin.
Oh, is it Ed McLovin in the movie? Didn't say it apparently.
Guy had a fake ID. Didn't know what name.
I didn't see the movie, so I don't know what you're talking
That
about.
was the only name. There was no first name. It's just McLovin.
Wait, wasn't that the guy that had the crush on the mom? No.
No, there was nothing.
Maybe that's a different movie.
Like
Okay,
that.
never
I
mind.
think you're thinking of American Pie or something. Where
McLovin
where
on
the MILF
Indian land.
thing
No,
came
we
from.
don't think it's on. We're going to do a party. We're going to have a poker party in a couple of weeks, Mitzi.
Laura Harris. And move down to Don Davidson.
Brackets make things invisible to Toby. You're right, Mitzi. they do.
Throwaway shows. Davio says, have you ever seen one of my throwaway shows lately?
No. Didn't know you were throwing away.
Didn't even know what that
Is that
meant.
like a retracted comment? When Eric Schmidt does a retracted comment, you just put it up there and nobody
Don
gets to see it?
Davidson, you have to send us an email and tell us what music you want, and it's got to be on karaoke version.
Karaoke-version.com. Just pick the music. You don't have to buy it. I'll take care of it. Just tell me which one you want.
All right. I'm at the bottom. Oh, and Steve Wayne is here.
Steve Wayne. Isn't that the superhero's name?
Bruce Wayne.
Bruce Wayne, sorry.
Maybe he's Bruce Wayne's son.
It's his brother.
Bat
Steve.
son.
Yeah. Bat brother.
Bat brother.
Oh, Cabro says we did a Vegas meetup last week, about a dozen, maybe a Texas meetup next week. I didn't know K-Pro went to the Vegas meetup.
I didn't know there was one.
Okay, wait, we have a comment
How
from Davio.
are we going to keep other people in the loop if we're out of the loop?
My point exactly.
I mean, you just got to keep us in the loop if, we're going to keep you in the loop.
You're going to have to keep us in the loop if you want us to be in the loop.
Virginia Man's here.
Virginia. It's not Virginia. Oh, it's Virginia.
Maybe you didn't have that little
but I
NA
don't
thingy.
even know her. Oh, joke.
Joe S.
Okay.
Joe S.
What?
Joe S.
Joe S. is...
He has a song. There's a bathroom on the right.
That's why you like to play a song.
Yeah.
I crashed in 5 Vegas poker tournaments. I cashed in 5 Vegas poker tournaments. I posted in Facebook, Cal's page, pictures from each one. It was crazy.
Point blogs here. And
Can you imagine
Foxtrot Mike says, ta-da-da-da-da-da, charge.
I would like to have a video of
Charge.
K-Pro going, it was crazy. Or K-Pro's version of
You're
that.
so weird.
Yeah. AGK Media, Grizzly Bear. We are no longer AGK Media. We are now a Gypsy Kiss.
Sorry. That was Toby's doing at 2 a.m, not mine.
It was
I
my
had
fault.
nothing to do with it whatsoever.
It was just bugging me. I had to get out of bed and change it, so I did. AGK Media, what about native territory? Oh, no, don't go so fast. They gave back recently. This changes constantly. It does, but he didn't do that.
Who didn't do what?
Fenn didn't put on tribal land. That was the point he was trying to make.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think he'd be careful about that.
We
after
ready
all
for
the
text
difficulties
messages?
he's had over the years.
All right. From area code 918. Hey, don't forget, if you're sending us a text message, send it to 866-597-9901. That's 866-597-9901. And make sure you include your first name, at least, and the state from which you are calling. Do not include your phone number because we play it here and everybody's going to hear. And you're going to start getting strange calls.
Jingle Bingo says, do you guys think Fenn would take the chest back, ending any legal issues, etc., and just write the finder a check? No. I don't think so.
That would be an interesting damn dream, but no, I can't, because you've got to consider that what he considered is that one day he was going to die, and all of these commentary about whether you're going to take it to Fenn or you're going to give it back. Once he's dead, you're stuck with that chest finder. Bless your heart.
Boom.
Bless your picking little heart. Okay, this is a voicemail from somebody. So let's see what he's got to say.
Hi, Toby. I'm never scheduled or sequenced to where I can get the open line live, but just a quick comment. I don't think Mr. Fenn ever wants this to be found. I think he wants this to be his legacy. And, according to a couple of statements he's made, such as there's been people within 200 feet or searchers within 200 feet, I believe that is a lie. I believe he is saying that to try to add credibility to the fact that it is there and someone is close just to save his own face. But I believe this is all smoke and mirrors. I do not believe he will ever want this thing to be found, and that will be his legacy. So thinking like Fenn, thinking the inner hero that he has, the way he thinks, writing his legacy in the book, I think ultimately this treasure, unfound forever, will be his legacy. Thanks a lot, Toby. Okay, well, certainly an opinion. I don't know that anybody could disagree with the idea that Fenn wants this to be his legacy. This afternoon we were talking, and I referred to Scrapbook 68 as to how Fenn describes how a dam is not involved. If you go just down below that, you see a bunch of commentary. And somebody asked Dale a question about his relationship with Fenn, or having spoken to Fenn recently. And Dale wrote something, and it was the equivalent of, I don't think Fenn, based on a conversation that he had with Fenn recently, back then, this was
2014.
Yeah, 2014. He said, I don't think Fenn cares one way or the other. As far as he's concerned, it could go on for 1,000 years. And that was Fenn saying that to Dale. I didn't see Dale get beat up over that, but my sense is that Fenn has always wanted this to last as long as it could possibly last, because the longer it lasts, the longer Forrest Fenn lasts. That's what it boils down to. Was just watching. This is from area code 208. No name, no location. Come on, guys, give me names and location. Oh, it's from Scott. Was watching your YouTube site, and I'm intrigued with this treasure hunt. See, it hooks you. They try to get out, and they pull you right back in. I'm intrigued with this treasure hunt, and the woman named Christy. How do I meet her? No, just kidding. Can you tell me about Joseph Meek's standoff and the location of the Gardner Valley? Thanks, Scott. Holy moly. Man, you are pulling... I don't have that kind of memory. So Joseph Meeks and his band of trappers were attacked by a group of Blackfeet Indian, and all the trappers separated. And at some point, he was facing a number of Blackfeet Indians, and he managed to get out of that predicament. There's various stories as to how he got out of that predicament. Some of them were that he bought his way out of the predicament, some of them that he ran, and some of them was that the Blackfeet, who were very militaristic, felt sorry for him and let him go. But all of those stories are based on the fact that he was the only one that was ever interviewed about that situation. But there's great more detail, Scott. You're literally getting back into the depths of my research that was, 3 and 4 years ago.
We made a video about it, didn't we?
I thought we made, you might look on our...
2017?
Was it 2017?
Yeah.
So we made a video about the relationship between all those trappers, Osborne Russell, Joseph Meeks,
Yeah.
John Charles...
Fremont,
Bridgers. So there's a video on our YouTube channel made back in 2017 when we first started about all of those trapper guys. So I'm sorry I can't give you any more information. Then he says, do you have any reason to believe it's been found? There is no clear and convincing evidence that the poem has been solved, the treasure has been found or recovered. If you have evidence indicating otherwise, please let me know. Oh, it's a text from Candy. Oh, maybe that mail now makes sense. Candy here. I'm trying to message Susie R.F. Hecky. I've been to her channel, tried to send her money. PayPal would not go through. Do you have any advice? I hope this YouTube thing works out for you two. You're both intelligent and professional. Will you wear something blue for me? Bad timing. Sorry. Didn't see it till now.
Mine's navy. Is that okay?
How's that close enough? I'll wear something blue on Friday
and
for you.
his necklace is blue.
Oh, that's why she said you're not answering me in the email.
Oh.
So I sent a request to R.F. Hecky that you wanted her email, and that if she wanted, I sent her your email. So if she wants to contact you, she now has your email to do that. Okay. Which is the most I can do. All right. What you got?
Well, we have a few more people who came in. Terry McKernan, C. Moore, Mr. T is here, and Zoe the cat.
Alberta
Search. I don't
Search.
think that was who it was.
No?
Alberta Searcher's looking for somebody who's looking for him.
Zoe, were you looking for Alberta Searcher?
Zuzi.
Oh.
Clueless Geezer.
Oh, Clueless Geezer left us a text message, I think.
And yeah.
I think
was
that
all
a little
the names.
Toby finished?
All the names that. Oh, and Joe Treasure Hunter is here. Oh,
yay, Joe Treasure.
To north.
That sounds very Nordic, no, like a Viking. To north.
Like a name you'd hear.
Go out and hunt and bring us back to the beast for dinner. To
Game
north.
of Thrones or something.
Yeah, it does sound like that. Okay.
Alberta Searcher's looking for Susie Venhaven. I don't think so, because it was Zuzi the.
No, that's two different people. Alberta
different
Searcher.
People.
Yeah, it'll pop up eventually.
The Flora Dude is here, and Solito. Hey,
Flora
new
Dude.
names.
Solito. Do you know what Solito is?
It's a name?
No, well, it is, but it means I'm alone. Like when I say, estoy aquí en mi casa, estoy aquí en mi casa solito. Like my mother would say, I need to say it like my mother. No más que no vienes a visitar porque estoy solita aquí en mi casa. So I drive up to Santa Fe.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so this is a text that
Tamara
says...
Lamb, hello from Connecticut. Oh, and I also saw Rick Plank from Cincinnati.
Oh, Tamara. What a pretty name. Dear Toby, just watched the 7.28.18. Ugh, I don't know what video that was. Video seems to me that you and other tubers are the ones who have complicated the search, not Forrest. His clues make total sense to me.
Which is why somebody already found the treasure 5 years ago.
You smell
Not.
that? Do you know what that is?
What?
The smell of newbie.
Oh, you're so mean. We need a newbie video.
Wait, okay. His clue makes total sense to me, but for the search, I wouldn't even know your name.
Yeah.
And YouTube. But for the search, I wouldn't even know your name. Maybe you're just not as intelligent as you think you are. I will use the poem and the book to find it and then call you and gloat before Fenn turns 90. Well, I'm glad you put a date on it. Are you sure you don't want to do it this year? So I said, don't forget to add your name and state from which you are calling. By the way, would you like us to add you to Shelley's list? It's almost like I don't take this seriously, but I do. Would you like us to add us to Shelley's list? What month will you return with the treasure? And he says his name is Logan. He's from Minnesota. He'll be back in July with the treasure. So add Logan for July.
Logan.
But we don't know for sure because it doesn't sound like he's been boots on the ground at all. So he's going to have all those big surprises.
But he knows exactly where it's at. And we're just making it too complicated.
P.S. I am very new to the chase. Well, we couldn't have told any... Yeah, that would have known. We didn't know anything. We couldn't tell that. I am very new to the chase, about 9 months, but won't use that as an excuse if I fail. Don't plan on failing. You already said you're going to go get this treasure. Call me back. You know what would be one of the great pleasures in my life? For you to call me on the show and gloat that you have the treasure. Now, you're going to have some evidence because I'm not otherwise going to believe you. But, hey, that would be a moment in my life that I would long recall. I am very new to the chase, about 9 months, but won't use that as an excuse if I fail. Just want to prove that it can be done. So do the other 100,000 searchers.
Yeah, we're just sitting here waiting for you to prove it for us.
Then he says, yeah, I've read most of them. My favorite is MW, Just the Facts. I don't know about that. And Blaze of Glory, he's hilarious. So Blaze of Glory, somebody thinks you're funny, is YouTube video. Oh, wait. A bit of warning. Got to warn you, though. I have a secret weapon. My guide is a Navajo. Yeah. I would be cautious with that.
We don't know any Navajos except for your daughter-in-law.
Yep. And my grandchildren. And Pony. And
Shush.
And Shush. The problem is most Native Americans are not big fans of Forrest Fenn, so don't mention what you're doing. Okay, you guys ready for some George? Listen, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 voicemails from George, but they date back to last week, so much of this. So I'm just going to play the last one. Oh, it's not very long, so I'm going to play the last 2 because George has such a good way of looking at things. Okay, George.
Hi, Toby. It's me, George. Follow up on why this poem is not working or why the treasure's not being found. I think a lot of things we take differently than what Forrest meant. Like when he's saying not far, but too far to walk, I believe he's referring to days gone by. Because in his book, when he's talking about Firehole Canyon, he's saying, he closes it and says, for me, it's just too far to walk. And he's talking about the times, the younger days, the memories. You can never walk back into the past, except in your memory. And I think that's what he's referring to here. It's something he wants us to go back in history. Maybe not far back, maybe the 50s or 60s, I'm not sure. But he does also say warm waters halt. And I think halt is a hint to something that's military, that's related to military. So maybe something in the past that was related to military, that's in a canyon. Anyway, just some thoughts. I'll be watching you Friday night, or I'll be looking for you for Friday night or sooner if you're on. Okay, thank you. Bye.
Well, here we are, George. Doesn't he sound like the kind of guy you want to go have a beer with and just ask him questions?
I don't drink beer.
Oh, okay. Well, all right. So here is George's last message. Let's see what he has to say.
Hi, Toby. It's me, George, again. Sorry to bother you again.
You're not bothering.
But another thought about why the Forrest Fenn poem is not working for most of us is we're not understanding what he means by the clues. For one instance, a hint is where warm water's hull actually has nothing to do with a body of water, a river, a pond, a lake. It's totally something else. But it has nothing to do with any body of water that exists here, in the Rocky Mountains. All right, I just thought I'd leave you with that. Maybe that will help you. So until next time, we'll be waiting to hear your show. Bye-bye.
I'm not sure how that's supposed to help us.
Who
when he
is
just says
we?
It's something else.
George is working with someone because he says, we'll be waiting to hear from on your show. Okay, let me go back. That was our George fix for the week.
We have talked about that being a walk through time.
Yeah.
Not far, but too far to walk. I think we did that about a year ago on our show, and it just really didn't help us get any closer to the treasure. But if it works for you, go for it.
Go for it. If you can make it work, make it work. Let us know about it when you find the treasure. So this is from Bo Walker. Mm-hmm. It says, hi, Toby and Shelley. This is Bo from Utah. I just sent you an email and would like your thoughts. It is a pretty cool photo that may lead to something. Bo is the one that sent us the bones last week. I'll put that picture of the bones, the human remains on our community channel. Thought it's a pretty cool photo that may lead to something. The image is in my search area. Also, how do I get one of those cool audio bits like K-Pro and Davio have? Whoa. I'm going to add them to this. I'm going to add you to the list, Bo. And as soon as I get an open block, of course, we need to get rid of a couple of people here. So, no, I don't mean that we're going to eliminate you. Yeah, you're not going to be. Okay, that's just a thank you for someone who thanked me for something. I don't know what they're thanking for. Let's see. This is Callie from Colorado. Hi, Toby and Shelley. Love your show. My solves change like the Colorado weather. Oh, you should get together with K-Pro.
So twice a day at least.
Because K-Pro's changes her solves pretty good. Don from Canada. Boots on the ground, May.
Dawn, D-O-N or D-A-W-N?
Dawn, D-O-N, from Canada.
Oh, Canada.
M.W. Mysterious. I know M.W. is Mysterious Writings. Thank you. That was our Logan.
Logan.
Okay. Okay.
Hey, Zozo Rocks. Terry McKernan. Oh, I said Terry McKernan. Zozo Rocks is here, though.
Werner von Braun, Charles Francis Brown, Dr. Bobby Brown, Cleveland. I have no idea what this means, though. Sorry, my dumb smartphone has a fat thumb and spells like a Texan.
Zoe, the cat, is going boots on the ground this weekend, but doesn't necessarily say she or he wants to be added to the list of I know where it is and I'm going to get it.
So Zoe, I know George sounds a little bit, but I've had long conversations with Rodney Greenway, and once you listen to both of them, they don't sound at all alike. Rodney's got that more even-toned voice intonation.
Goodbye, Greg Keller.
Good night, all. Off to work. We'll catch the replay of the second hour and came. Oh, wait, but that's the call-in. Don't leave now. To heck with work. Blow them off. Tell them you had things to do. Did you
no,
watch?
Don't do that.
Tell them
not until you
I
find
was
the
watching
treasure.
Toby and Shelley.
Not until you have that treasure in your hands.
Work? What work?
Okay, Zoe wants to be added for April. Zoe the cat.
Go ahead and add me, Shelley. Don't use a pen, though. She just used a pen. It's a good. April, damn. So Zoe the cat is not the one that wanted to get hook up with
I don't know anymore.
Alberta.
I'm so tired of this
Whoever wanted to
personal
hook
ads
up with
thing going on. Just,
whoever
we're
wanted
not
to
Craigslist.
Hook up with Alberta Searcher. Please let us know because we've managed to lose it someplace.
Matt Bear, which list is longer than I know or the don't know? Well, I don't have a list of the don't knows, but I'm going to guess that would be longer.
A longer list, yeah.
Or just gave us a little ta-ching.
Oh.
For $10.
Thank you,
Obord. Do you
Obord.
have a question you would like to add to that? Let us know.
You, Obord, whenever you do that, you get to ask a question and we answer it right away. How cool is that? Candy says, thanks. Thank you. You're welcome, Candy.
Shane McLaughlin's in the room.
Shane McLaughlin. He brings with him his brothers, the brothers McLaughlin. We're going to do Battle with the King.
And then we're going to sing songs.
He absconded with our sister, Mary Lou. That doesn't sound very Scottish, does it?
I don't think so.
All right.
I don't think so.
One last text message, and then we go to open phone lines. How much fun is that? Hi, it's Mark from Boston. I would like to hear your thoughts on my idea that the first stanza in the poem contains the hint clue to where warm waters halt. Mark, the only thing I can say about it is that I have no evidence to disagree with you. I think it is very possible. And oh, by the way, when I believed that, the first stanza got me to New Mexico. That's one of the other reasons I ended up there. Ooh.
Okay. Obord says, you just listened to my message.
Oh.
Oh.
Which one was that?
Must have been the one that we just listened to. That didn't have a name.
Okay. Thank you, Ob, for putting that in. Alberta Searcher. Thanks. We're not Alberta Searcher. We're not done. We will find you that woman, whoever she is. Because she was desperate. I should probably go. It's someplace. It is someplace in my. Catch me a catch. It's the only part of that song I know. Okay, let's open up the phone lines. You ready?
We have a little video on that.
I do have a little video that you went through.
No, it's George. What? Obord is George? Obord is George.
No. No, Obord is not George. Oh, Obord, you're George? What the hell?
AJ Rainville wants to be your wingman.
Hang on. I threw it away already. Obord, what is George's area code? Okay, here we go. Open phone lines.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello?
Who's there? I'm talking. Hello?
Hello. Who is this?
You know what this is.
Okay, phone lines are
Shane,
open.
you can call in right now.
You can call in right now unless somebody beats you to it.
Obord says 828.
Oh, that is George. This is not George.
Hello.
Hey, you've reached Toby and Shelley. What's your name? Where are you calling from? And what do you have to say about the Forrest Fenn treasure?
Hey, long time no talk. Let's go ahead and remain anonymous, and we'll just give the state of Florida. How's that sound?
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you can how about use your screen name, so I have something to call you.
Okay.
What's your screen name?
Maverick.
Okay, Maverick. Okay, go Maverick. What do you got?
I wanted to go over the poem. If you got your poem, can you pull it out? I would encourage everybody in the book.
It's in my library, in my bookshelf, which is in the library, and that's next door.
All right, not a problem.
But go ahead.
Not a problem. I was just going to say, this is more of a visual. I was just thinking, you know how Fenn always said the path would be direct for the one who knew the location beforehand and not for the one who did it, basically?
Yeah.
I'm kind of paraphrasing there.
You are kind of paraphrasing, but I remember.
Yeah, in a sense. But the poem itself, I kind of go back to the idea of not having the exact idea of a geographic location beforehand, but he says everything is in the poem. Everything is in the poem that you need, which is true. I believe it. But my question goes, what if you started with the word begin, where he says begin it where warm waters halt?
Mm-hmm.
That's the first clue. But the actual word begin, what if he's actually referring to it, as in the word begin? Follow me on this. It is where warm waters halt. They halt where they begin. Then if you go through and read the poem line for line, just like exploring a poem over and over, like Lewis and Clark, continuously exploring, it goes on wordplay, and it starts to talk to you in a different format. So, for example, when you follow the first clue, begin at where warm waters halt, the first word begin, and you take it in the canyon down, so the next word is walk. So what if you connect the words as in begin, walk, and then it starts to kind of unravel itself? I've been noticing a lot of little things like that, how the poem talks in different senses. I don't know if anybody else is seeing that, but I've noticed that roughly about a year and a half ago, and just little things are starting to jump out in a different way, and I'm like, I don't know if that's a possibility. What's your take on that? Have you seen that or witnessed that? Or
No, I haven't, but I do have a question for you. Let's assume that you're onto something here. And so some people, when they say, I look at the poem and I see ciphers, or I look at the poem and I see anagrams. When you look at the poem, what do you see?
Exactly. I try to stay away from that. I don't want to get involved with ciphers, anagrams. That's what I thought years and years ago. But I said, what if he's playing a very thin gray line? He's not tricking. He's not tricking anybody. It is very straightforward. He said, if you follow the clues precisely, and every single word in that poem that he spent 15 years of his life, he picked out deliberately. And I discovered there is some New English, Old English, Middle English terminology, all the way down to the very last word, gold. I mean, gold could be, if he's given you title to the gold, not just the physical title itself or the title of championship for winning this, but what if gold is actually G-O-U-L-D, as in gold, like the gold city of Colorado or gold city in a different state, just on a hypothetical note. But there's so much play on the words, but it's not trickery because we perceive it a different way, but he has actually laid the scope of what we actually need. And I got a feeling it's right here under our noses. He basically shoved it in our faces because it's so easy but yet so complex at the same time, and he knows how human psychology works. And I keep going back to that mentality of he taught hundreds and hundreds of people how to fly multi-million-dollar aircrafts and how to become gunmen for the Air Force. So he got first-hand exposure, how to teach these individuals, got inside their heads, and understood multiple levels of perception. And he was able to translate that to create an even playing field for everybody across the board. I really believe it's kind of like all roads lead to Rome. He created this in such a unique way. There's only one way to the treasure. Okay, the treasure chest itself, his treasure, the rainbow treasure, if you want to call it.
We agree with that. Yes,
but I believe he created different paths that'll lead to the same exact way by deciphering the clues itself. Even in the book,
whoa. You just used the word deciphering, but you said that wasn't what you meant, and that's what I was trying to get to. How would you describe what you're doing?
Just using the terminology of understanding, not necessarily deciphering like a code, again, going back to anagrams, puzzles in that sense, going too far and extreme. I don't believe it's that complicated. I believe it's much more simplified, but it's not classified as trickery because Forrest said that the poem is straightforward as it is. If he said for himself, if you decipher what. My phone cut out there. He said if you decipher what the I'm drawing a blank here. Let me check.
Well, no. So let me help. So you're not describing deciphering in the way that a crypto analyst would describe it. You're using deciphering as a way to describe the process of translating the words of the poem into what Fenn meant them to be. Is that correct?
Exactly. Exactly. That's one way.
So of the 166, hang on, let me ask a couple of questions so we can help the people in the chat room. Of the 166 words in the poem, how many of those have you performed this translation that you're describing upon?
I'd probably say not even honestly half, because they go so deeply. It's incredible how many rabbit holes this can open.
And of the
But,
166
to pull it
words,
precisely is one way.
of the 166 words,
there's honestly a lot that we don't know about these simple words. They are not simple words. I mean, we can we can take it at the basic face value of what it is, but when you start to really break open some of these words, we use these out of context every day. We truly do. When you start to cross-reference Old English, Middle English, Modern English, none of this makes sense the way you think it would. It opens up a whole new realm. Forget anagrams, forget even a lot of modern definition. I believe a lot of this is coded to the older English with some of it mixed in with the new English. Maybe that's part of his riches, new and old, besides his treasures, his treasured time, his new physical treasures with his old physical treasures, in combination with wordplay. He's not tricking you.
Let me ask some more questions. So he uses the word "it" several times in the poem. Is it? Let me ask. Hang on. Let me ask the questions first before you answer. So, two things. Number one, does the word "it" in the poem have the same transitional change that you're describing, or does it change with each utilization of the word "it"?
It seems like it can go both ways. It's not fully understood, to be perfectly honest, because that's one of the most mystical words in the entire poem to me, besides some other basic ones. But it's fascinating, because if you really slow down, as if you're in a meditative mode, and you really read even the first sentence, and you take it at face value, as we would basically interpret it, I should say. Forget maps, forget the Rockies, forget everything. We can't go anywhere unless we start to understand something. Forget studying even maps, because how do you know what map to grab? What's a good map? I mean, are we talking climatic map? Are we talking topographic map? What kind of map? I mean, a good map, you could say Google Earth. Okay, but how deep do you go in? How far do you zoom in? How far do you stay out? We need to read the poem over and over, like he said, to really gain an understanding. Yes, the first clue is begin at where warm waters halt, but he also keeps going back to Lewis and Clark, we should not cease from our exploration, etc., to arrive at the starting place to know the to know the place for the first time. You have to go through and take the big picture, basically. And then, as time went on, I started to change my thought pattern as to what the clues were. Personally, to me, what I personally believe is that clue number one is begin at where warm waters halt, with that first sentence, and the last clue ends with just heavy loads of water high. The reason being, and I don't mean to ruffle feathers, but that's just me. The reason why is because once you hit that last spot of just heavy loads and water high, the next line says, if you've been wise and found the blaze. Already telling you confirmation. You're there. You already found it. He's just telling you, look quickly down your quest to seize. It's game over. But he's telling you, tarry scant with marvel gaze. Look around. It's probably hidden in plain sight, which it's concealed. It's hid, as he says. I don't think it's buried. He's just saying, just take the chest and go in peace.
So let me interrupt. Leonard, we got some questions. We got to go some questions for you, because we're going to have to go to the next caller here in just a sec. So. When he says, if you've been wise and found the blaze, we had someone postulate last week that the blaze was actually the first clue, not the last. How do you feel about that?
Forrest said, even when you asked him at the bookstore years ago, why is it you asked him along the lines of, what is the importance of too far to walk? And he did a stutter slip up. And after that, he basically went back to the clues, and he said, I knew how to step on it. He basically wrote the clue. He wrote how to get there, and he could put one foot down and step on it. And he sandwiched the clues. I don't believe there's a gap between the clues of running around the poem and saying, if you're braving in the wood, that's a clue. I give you title to the cold or to the gold, that's a clue. I used to think that was. I really did. But I said, no, Forrest, his pattern, his whole psychological pattern of everything he does as a human being, he keeps everything nice and tight. Everything is well quartered, very well calculated, very well precise, all the way down to being meticulous, and his full log of recording throughout his time of being an amateur archaeologist in the military, keeping documents and records. He keeps everything just absolutely tight. Everything is very tight, and I can't just break away from that because he's not a sloppy individual. And going back to the poem and looking at those clues and trying to understand that mentality of him, it makes perfect sense now, and it falls into perfect formation. To me, it does. Because when you go back through and read the poem over...
Let me ask you a compound question, and I'm going to have to hang up, okay? So the compound question is, how many times have you been boots on the ground, and how close do you feel you are to finding Fenn's treasure?
One time boots on the ground before actually understanding what type of adventure this truly was. This time around, you really have to study before you can even assume you even have a right location. Because again, going back to what Fenn said, he said himself, I warned that the path would not be direct for the one who had no understanding of the location beforehand. I'm paraphrasing, but certain for the one who did.
Yeah.
There is something as a confirmation, but again, going back to Warm Waters Halts, you might not have the right one, like he said before. You won't know that you have the right one until you actually solve it. But there is going to be a confirmation where you will feel absolutely confident you can actually make your move and you will be in the geographic location. And I personally believe one clue that leads to the other is give or take within 500 to 1,000 feet. And I have another theory on that based upon things that he has said through multiple videos and through a lot of questioning. But I'll call back another time.
Yeah, we'll talk about it another time. But first of all, I appreciate your call. I appreciate the effort that you've put into this. But I'm going to strongly recommend that if you have a YouTube channel, if you don't start one, if you do, make a video about what you're talking. You don't have to look at the camera. You don't have to just skip it. Talk to your computer and get this stuff.
About it.
You really should.
I thought about it. It's just the time. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know.
It wouldn't take you any more time than what it took you tonight. We've been on the phone for 10 minutes, so. Okay?
Sure. All right, guys. Well, have a good one. Just food for thought. Hopefully, some feathers weren't ruffled too hard, and everybody can forgive me.
No, nobody's feathers will be ruffled if people are providing alternatives to what they've been thinking already, and you did that. So, thanks.
All right. Have a good one. Thanks.
You too. Bye-bye. That was a fun call. I like people who come up with kind of these, what I would think of as obtuse thinking, because that's what it's going to take to find this damn treasure. So you got a question. Hey, phone lines are open, 866-597-9901. Call in, talk to Toby and Shelley, and tell us what you...
There's 216 of you out there.
Whoa.
You should probably have a quick dialing finger.
And I don't think we're getting...
Shane, we're ready for you.
I think my call waiting is off because we're not getting any beeps.
Yeah.
You got to believe that during that call, somebody tried to call in, don't you think?
Probably.
I
think somebody might have.
Phone lines are open, 866-597-9901. Call us and tell us where the treasure is.
Yeah.
Or not. You don't have to tell us where the treasure is. You can.
Or that you're going to go find it and win.
I think this is treasure. Hey, you've reached, wait a minute, you haven't done anything yet. You've reached Toby and Shelley.
Hello.
Who's this? Where are you calling from? And what's your question?
Hey, Toby, this is DJ Navatek from Gallup, New Mexico.
DJ Navatek from Gallup.
Wow.
Hey, buddy.
Yes, sir.
We got DJ down for finding the treasure in May.
Oh, you're going in May?
Yeah, actually next weekend.
Oh.
Boots on the ground.
So this could end all, it could all end by next week's first show on Wednesday. You could have it, right?
He said next weekend, not this weekend.
Oh,
I'm
next
weekend.
weekend.
Look around.
Oh, okay.
Who knows?
All right.
Next weekend.
So let's talk. What's your question? Or what's your statement? Your declarative statement.
Your last show, this noontime. It was a great show.
Thank
Loved it. Very informative. Yeah, you guys are awesome. Shelley, you're awesome. You're beautiful.
Thank you.
Anyway, you stated that your first look or one of your looks was with you and Jason was on the Chama River.
Rio Chama, that's right.
And Rio Chama, yeah. And now you also stated that was part of the plateaus were part of the Rocky Mountains, the Southern Rocky Mountains.
No.
And I was looking through the.
Yeah, somebody asked me about where the plateaus. Go ahead.
Yeah, I guess my question was, is that part of the Southern Rocky Mountains?
So the Rocky Mountains are very distinct in that they look like mountains. They have ups and peaks and downs. Plateaus are very different from that, and they were formed differently. The Rocky Mountains were formed as a result of action of tectonic plates that pushed together and created mountains. The plateaus are actually the result of a period further back than the Rocky Mountains. The Rocky Mountains are actually younger than some of those plateaus because the plateaus were formed as a result of volcanic action, and then the western, what was it? The Western Seaway, the ocean that split, the Western Inland Seaway, the ocean that split. We did a video on this, the Western Inland Seaway.
He just wants to know, is that in the Rockies?
Oh, I don't know. I don't believe
Is
that
is the Chamasolve in the Rockies?
Oh, is the Chamasolve in the Rockies? That's a good question. If you look at Fenn's map in Too Far to Walk, it is on the map as part of the search area. Is that the question you were asking, DJ?
Yeah. I really wanted to pin down because that's one of my. I had that question because when I read the book, I read it several times and I was Googling, of course, names, highlighted names, and one of them was Alvado. Before I stumbled upon your videos, and which they're awesome. Anyway,
thank you.
Alvado, of course, is the Ford, and he did mention a lot of times Miss Ford, and so I started there, and then I did what everybody else did, of course, Google warm waters in New Mexico. Because my thinking is, my logic was that he spent a lot of time here in New Mexico, Santa Fe, famous art dealer, and one of my boots on the ground was in Albuquerque, south of the Ghost Ranch. Albuquerque, yeah.
Yeah.
And what led me there was Georgia O'Keeffe. And one of my ideas was Georgia O'Keeffe. Forrest Fenn was selling Georgia O'Keeffe paintings, but then he said he didn't really like paintings, or something of that nature, and he just sold them as a business. So, but anyway, that was one of my first thoughts before even buying the book. I just went off the poem.
Well, if you look at that area in the Painted Hills where Georgia O'Keeffe in Ghost Ranch was living, you'll see the plateau areas. You can see the effects along the side of all those hills and plateaus there of the Western Inland Seaway. That's where all those colors on those things come from, on those hills and plateaus come from. So you were in an area that represented this Western Inland Seaway, but probably not the Rocky Mountains.
Right. I was just curious too if that area of the Rio Chama was part of the Southern Rockies.
Yeah,
if not, then
I'll tell you what. I'm going to go back and I'll look at the map and make sure, and I will make a post on our community page as to whether or not it's in the Rocky Mountains. But if I remember correctly, we did this research once before for some reason, and we determined that it was in the Southern Rockies, in the is it the Tusas? The Tusas range of the Rockies. It's in there, and you got to remember that the Jemez area is even further south than that, and it's in the Rockies as well. So, but I'll put something in the community. I'll put something in our community blog on our YouTube channel that has some sort of evidence that it is, other than my just winging it. So hang on.
Right.
Let me answer somebody in the room. Toby fan. It is 231, but we set our record last week at 271. So we had a pretty good week last week. Okay, DJ. Any other questions?
I had one more.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. I was listening to you and Shelley, like 20 minutes ago. I caught it when we first started. Maybe I missed like first 10 minutes of it.
Yeah.
But anyway, I was listening with my wife, and she was doing homework, and it was playing, and I usually have my headphones on. But anyway, she heard the nicknames Pony and
Shush. Shush.
What's your Shush?
Shush.
Yeah. And anyway, she said that is, and she started listening, and that's when you were talking about Pony and Shush and about the Navajos. And anyway, she said, I know them.
Oh.
So she went to school. She went to school with your son's wife.
Oh, with Rolene. Yeah, she was from the Gallup area. Yeah.
Yeah, Rolene is from the Gallup area. And Pony is their oldest daughter. She's just graduating from high school. She's actually Najoni. Pony is her middle name. She's Najoni. And then Shush is the baby. He's now 3?
I don't know if he's 3 or 4.
3. Oh, he may be 4.
Yeah.
Shush, it's Shush Michael. And he's grandson by blood. Pony is granddaughter by marriage. So, yeah. Well, that's cool. Cool. Yeah, Rolene. Her previous name was Rolene Milton. And my son Jason, who you see and hear from on the show, is married to Rolene. Yeah.
Yeah, she heard that, and then she, of course, pulled it up on Facebook, and I was like, wow, this is so crazy.
Yeah. There's a good, nice,
big coincidence.
Nice little connection there. Well, say hi to your wife for us, and thank her for listening to us. And I'm glad she's friends with Rolene and Pony and Najoni. I mean, Pony and Shush.
Thank you so much.
Our pleasure. You have a good evening.
You too. Bye.
Bye-bye. And DJ, if you're still listening, you can tell her that my grandmother on my father's side was Perez, and she was from St. John's, Arizona, and I think she's Navajo, but a separate clan. That's where I get. I'm 12.5% Native American, but I think, and that comes from my grandmother. So, and she was born in St. John's, Arizona, as was my father. Was born in St. John's, Arizona. That's his birthplace.
My grandparents used to live there.
In St. John's?
Yeah. I visited them there before.
Yeah.
I remember my grandma used to make, she'd paint pottery there in St. John's.
We had a call from 540. Why does that sound familiar? It sounds like Virginia, isn't it? Virginia?
I don't know.
Hey, you've reached Toby and Shelley. What's your name? Where are you calling from? And what's your question?
Hello.
Hello. They had the computer on. They could hear themselves who was talking to them. Phone lines are open. 866-597-9901. So, yeah, hit that thumbs up and like us, because YouTube likes it when you like us. And
Ken Blythe. According to Wiki Chama, the village is located in the Rocky Mountains about 7 miles south of the Colorado-New Mexico border.
7 miles? Is that all? I guess, huh? That makes sense.
Thank you, Ken Blythe, for that information.
Thank you, Ken. We'll pass that on to DJ Novatek. He's probably watching in the room now. Okay.
Bob and Tom, the Kitty Cat song. No, I haven't heard that one. I haven't heard Bob and Tom since I lived in Indianapolis.
Who's it, Bob and Tom?
Bob and Tom have a morning radio show.
Oh.
It plays in certain parts of the country, including Indianapolis. And we have a CD of their stuff from so many years ago, and Tim Allen is actually on that.
Hey, you've reached Shelley and Toby. What's your name? Where are you calling from? And what's your question?
Hey,
it's Joe Treasure Hunter. Okay.
Hey.
Here we go. Off and running.
No questions.
Okay.
I don't have any questions, but Maverick, he's dead on it. I mean, there's more than one way to skin a cat.
Oh, you think our friend from Florida?
I'm a little different.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, he's dead on it. Absolutely. A couple more things, and he's gonna zero in on it.
Oh, yeah?
A key is, in warm water's halt, is actually halt. It's when traffic comes to a halt, it's temporary. It'll stop momentarily, but then the flow will pick back up again. So that's a key in finding where warm water's halt. And there's another way, which he's on to. And he's dead on it, absolutely dead on it.
Oh, good. I'm glad you think so. You seem to have your direction. He has his. Who's gonna get to the treasure first?
Well, he's probably going to be just as let down as I am when he figures this out, and he will. He's on it.
Oh, all right, sir. Well, thank you for calling in. I'm sure he's going to be happy to hear your commentary on his commentary.
Oh, he's absolutely on it. He's dead on it.
All right, sir. You have a good evening.
All right.
Bye-bye.
You too.
Jenna, that was Joe Treasure Hunter is how he goes back.
Albin Nylander. I know where it is.
Oh, he knows where it is. Is that a
for
rooster?
Albin?
Albin knows where it is. That at? Okay, telephone lines are open. We'll give you a couple more minutes. Nobody calls in, then we will have an
Hey,
early...
Shane McLaughlin, you wanted to call in. Now's the time.
Do it now, Shane, before somebody beats you to it. Ariel Map says, on the last Kalazar stream, both K-Pro and Mike were talking about the Goonies movie that may have had clues to the treasure. Do you, that must be y'all, also think searchers should watch the Goonies? Well, I think you should. So you should watch the Goonies for the same reason you watch our show, for entertainment. Yeah, for entertainment.
I think you get just as much out of Ready Player One. You know, it's just kind of, if it sparks an idea for you, good, do that.
Sassy says, is Philmont open to the public for hiking? It used to be. There was one stretch off of Route 64 that had a big green gate on it, but it had a sign that said, if you're walking this particular trail, you can do that. Otherwise, you're on the property of Philmont Ranch. But they took that down. I think it was last year. They took that sign down. So, no, it's not open to hiking anymore. Philmont Ranch. Hey, you've reached Toby and Shelley. Who's this? Where are you calling from? And what's your question?
Jeremy from Michigan.
Hey, Jeremy. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Very good, thank you.
I just want to know what you thought about where Warm Waters Halt, being the entrance into the Rocky Mountains, where you can see snow on top of the mountains.
We've heard that. We've heard that before. You're not the first one. What we suggest to people is that if you believe that begin at where Warm Waters Halt is the first clue, then what you need is a first clue that starts with a location that's precise, literally pinpointable on a map, usually to at least 6 positions via a GPS. And when you look at it from that big, broad, global perspective, like I'm down at the bottom and the warm waters are here and the cold waters are up there, it doesn't give you the ability to identify a particular spot, and you end up with thousands of possibilities by that definition. And what you want to do is reduce it not to thousands of possibilities, but to one probability. So that's our only problem with that definition. But we have heard it before. We've had other people have incorporated that into their theory. So I don't, and because we don't have the treasure, I can't discard it, right? I can't ignore it. It's just as plausible as any other solution until that treasure is recovered.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. And I also have one more question.
Okay, go ahead.
Don't you think Forrest, the stuff that he owns would increase with all the attention that he's gotten? Like, wouldn't he have actually made more money off of just what he owns and could sell it for, rather than what he actually put in the chest?
Yes, I believe that assumption is true, but selling it outright wouldn't have got him what he covets most, and that is the longevity of his name. So let's say he had all that treasure, and let's say he took it to Sotheby's, and because he could take everything in his house, literally take it to an auctioneer, and they could sell every penny of that, and he and his family would be, not that they're not already well off, they would be well off, and they would be comfortable for the remainder of their lives, and no one would know that next year. what putting the treasure, what taking all those valuables, putting them in a bronze chest and hiding it in the mountains and writing a book gives Forrest Fenn is what he covets in the same way that Achilles coveted it, and that is the longevity of his name. That's why.
Mm-hmm. That's just why I believe it's out there, because, you know, even though he puts $2 million out there, he's not really losing any money.
No, he did it knowing that he might get some criticism from his family about doing that, but he had something more that he wanted to. He had plenty enough money. He had all these artifacts that he had collected in a way that probably didn't cost him $2 million. He was very good at trading, and so it probably didn't cost him that much. And so it didn't have that financial impact on him. And so his family could be critical, but the simple fact of the matter is, to him, putting it out there and making it available to the rest of the world was more important.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, thank you.
Oh, thanks for calling in. We appreciate it. You have a good evening.
You too.
Bye-bye.
So Kevin, my husband, came into the room and waved, and I blew him a kiss, in case all of you were wondering who I was kissing, because apparently everybody thought it was them. Just like, Fenn was talking about me. Shelley was blowing me a kiss.
Well, you know what? When you see it, turn down the volume and watch it, and it's okay to believe that Shelley was blowing you a kiss. Why not?
But it stops there.
It stops there.
Don't ask for more. Many searchers are looking for the Wizard of Oz, not knowing they only need to move the curtain out of the way.
Mm-hmm. Hey, that's an interesting way. 23.
Shane, you're supposed to call in. That's what you missed.
That's why I made that song for you, 23. That is so
you can play it after he says something.
Yeah.
Wise and obscure.
Wise and obscure, but wise nonetheless. Okay, phone lines are open. We got 20 minutes left tonight before we have to go do something else.
That quote from Teddy Roosevelt.
Oh, that was for. Did we read that?
No.
Why didn't we read it?
The quote?
No, but I mean, why were we going to read that we got the quote?
Oh, I don't know. I was just talking about it with you.
No, wasn't there an email that was...
Was what? Was it somebody who thought they knew where the treasure was?
No, somebody.
Or they were criticizing somebody else.
They were criticizing us for our lack of ability to find the treasure. What the hell was it?
Lack of ability to find the treasure. Well, let's see. Add me to the list of people who know where the chest is. Someone please go pick it up.
Maybe it was that. No, it wasn't. I thought it wasn't Logan. It was somebody else. I thought it was an email. I didn't get that email printed.
Logan?
Dang it. No, not.
No.
Logan was a text message. Hang on. I thought we had an email that was kind of gloaty in the same way that Logan's was. Let's see.
Well, anyway.
Oh, sorry I missed it.
Should you want to gloat, we have a quote for you.
Yeah. You don't have to gloat for us, and you don't have to gloat on your behalf. We'll gloat for you.
Mr. T wants you to blow him a kiss.
Me?
That's what he says. Tell Toby he can blow me a kiss.
Is Mr. T went up? That isn't that guy.
Pit Boss wants to know, can you think of a place Forrest has mentioned going in alone? Well, yeah, Lander. We went there.
Yep.
Didn't find anything.
You know, thinking of Forrest Fenn alone is really kind of funny because I don't think of him as a lone kind of person. He seems like he's a very social person and enjoys the social part of it and the notoriety associated with it. So it's hard for me to, you know, there are times where I've wanted to be alone. And there are times where I went fishing by myself and you're standing out there in the river and it's getting to be sunset and the sun is, you know, off the water and the trees are by the, you know, it's just beautiful. And then you say to yourself, I just love this moment. So I think everybody has that kind of experience, but I don't think of Fenn as any more a loner than I do think of me as a loner, because I don't think of myself as a loner.
So anyway, what did Teddy Roosevelt, what did he say?
Teddy Roosevelt said,
and you guys can still call in. We're just filling in the space.
Yeah, we're just filling out. We don't want any dead air, as
That's
it's
right.
called.
So call in if you feel like it. We're going to read you a Teddy Roosevelt quote.
Here's why it's easy for us to take the kind of criticism that we get sometimes. Teddy Roosevelt said, "It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong men stumble or where the doer of deeds could have done better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena." I'm going to restate that. The credit belongs to the man or the woman who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming, but who does actually strive to do the deed, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who, at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and dead. So, we think that anytime somebody criticizes you for what you're thinking, remember that you're thinking. Remember that it's you who's looking for that treasure. Remember that it's you that's putting those boots on the ground. And they can criticize you all that they want, but generally speaking, those people that are criticizing you for what you believe you want, that Forrest Fenn put out a treasure in the mountains north of Santa Fe, and that one day you are going to find it, the critics are the ones that don't know that challenge, don't understand that challenge, and will never, ever put boots on the ground to go look for it. And if by some happenstance they get that far, they will whine because their boots will get dirty. You're the one in the stadium. Don't let anybody take that away from you.
The arena.
The arena, yeah.
The arena. Credit belongs to the one in the arena.
Boy, glad I got that off my chest.
Yeah. Here's another call.
Thank God. Saved me from myself. Hey, you reached Shelley and Toby. Who's calling? Where are you calling from? And what's your question? Don't forget to turn off your laptop or computer. Otherwise, it's going to be confusing for you.
Yes, hi, Toby. This is James calling from Chicago.
Hey, James. How are you doing?
I wanted to clear something. All right. I wanted to clear something up. When Forrest said that the treasure chest spot was not associated with any structure, did he mean that about all 9 clues or just the spot where the chest is at?
Wait, did he mean that about what? What did you say? I lost that word. Did he mean that about?
When Forrest said in one of the interviews, I saw it before, but Forrest said that the treasure chest was not associated with any structure. Did he mean that just about the spot that the chest is in, or did he mean that about all 9 clues?
Oh, that's interesting.
That all 9 clues was not associated with any structure.
The impression that you got and the context in which the question was asked is that you wouldn't find a structure in line with finding the treasure. So there are some people believe that the treasure is not hidden under a structure, and so that it only applies to the last clue. There are other people who believe that there is no structure associated with any of the clues, but because of the way Fenn said that, it isn't quite clear what he meant, and that's why you're probably asking this question. I would like to assume that the treasure itself is not associated with a structure, and that the clues, because they need some kind of longevity, that the clues are probably not related to a man-made structure. I think it's wiser to imagine that none of the clues are associated with a man-made structure, that they are all natural in their own way. How do you feel about that?
Thank you.
Oops.
He feels fine, I guess.
I guess he feels
I think he
fine.
just wanted an answer.
All right.
It's just about the treasure, I think, because people were trying to determine if Home of Brown was a structure as
Right.
well.
Holy Jiminy Christmas.
Wow. I think we need a big ka-ching there.
Well, I'm going to do a...
What is CA?
Canadian.
Oh, Canadian. Okay.
Our Canadian friends
Canadian
just donated
dollars.
200 Canadian dollars to our...
We have
wow.
applause.
Yeah, we do have applause. Do we have applause? Oh, we don't. Yeah, we do.
Yay! Thank you, Larry Sandell.
Larry Sandell. Well, geez, Larry, at least ask a question. So...
Let us know what it is. It's
yeah,
burning a hole in your brain.
For $200,
For
you
$200.
should call in for $200, and we'll just keep you for the next 10 minutes until the end of the show. Larry, thank you very much for that.
Yeah.
I hope that what we've done here tonight or in the past
Fuel
is
for the fire.
meaningful to you. So thank you very kindly.
Yeah.
We're going to have a little competition here for the next 5 minutes. If you can match his donation, we will say something nice about you.
Yeah, well.
How did they do that?
I don't know.
Oh, we just got
think it's
$200
usually
from
for, they have a little bit more incentive to do so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, here's what I'll do. If you can match Larry's... I didn't do that because I should give that to Larry if I was going to do anything.
Yeah.
Larry, thank you very much. That was very kind of you.
Yeah, you get the credit because you're in the arena.
You, sir, get the credit.
The arena. That's yours.
Arena.
The arena's yours for 200 Canadian. 200 loonies.
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 So here, I'm going to do a quick calculation. No, I'm not going to do it.
All right.
So Mitzi has been really quiet tonight. What's up with that? Mitzi, how come you're so quiet? What's going on? Are you feeling
she's
okay?
Here.
And Heather Dawn hasn't
She's
been in the room.
giggling in the side. Oh, we need a cowbell for that.
What?
For that donation.
Agreed. That's at least a cowbell.
We get
The loud
Big cowbell.
Yeah.
Big loud cowbell.
I got some other. I've got some other sound effects I could do. Here we go. Where did Larry get that $200? Where did it come from?
And where did it go? All right.
Mitzi is fired up. Craig Carter says searchers are chasing Mitzi's booty. And don't be touching her booty. What does she say?
I don't know. Keep your hands off my booty.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I thought it was don't spank my booty. But you're right. I think it's keep your hands off my booty.
All righty then. Well, does anybody else want to call in before we shut the lines down?
Before we shut the lines down.
Count to 10.
Okay, now give them 60.
Oh, here we go.
There we go. 856. I need to keep a list of where all these are coming from. Hey, you've reached Shelley and Toby. What's your name? Where are you calling from? And what's your question?
Hi, I'm Bill from Pittsburgh.
Hey, Bill.
And I'm calling because... How are you guys tonight?
We're having a great time.
Super.
Well, I'm calling because a couple of friends of mine were thinking about going boots on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a couple of spots like everybody. So we're thinking maybe Yellowstone. Would you put Yellowstone in your top 3 areas?
Well, I need to answer that question in another way. No, we would not put it in our top 3 areas, but I would say as far as the search community is concerned, Yellowstone is probably one of the top 3 areas. How's that? Is that fair?
Mm-hmm. So why do you differ a little bit from the search community?
Yeah, these guys are good. You haven't been watching us for very long because what I'm about to tell you, we've probably said 100 times, and the guys in the chat room are going to get mad. So we believe the treasure is hidden in New Mexico for a variety of reasons. Number one, in the book, before he tells us about the poem, he says, I hid the treasure somewhere in the mountains north of Santa Fe. That doesn't sound like a man who hid a treasure in Colorado, Wyoming, or Montana. That's number one. Number two, back in the olden days when I first did my search on warm waters, the only response to the search for warm waters that came up was the New Mexico Game and Fish regulations. Number three, Forrest has spent the last part of his life from 1972 on in New Mexico in Santa Fe, and he came to Santa Fe intentionally. That's what he wanted to do. He was very happy when Peggy gave him permission to move to Santa Fe. And then lastly was based on some research that Shelley had done last year that basically concluded that why would a man who's to be, you've got to remember, this was a plan that he concocted in 1988 when he thought he was going to die from cancer. So if you were dying from cancer and you wanted to hide a treasure that you were going to die around, how much further would you go than the state in which you live? So for those reasons, we've always believed it was in New Mexico. But we don't have the treasure, and we're not looking for it anymore. So we don't insist that everybody believe it. We believe it's in New Mexico, but it's not necessary for anyone else to believe that.
Mm-hmm. One of our big suspicions around the Yellowstone side is thinking, Forrest Fenn is an individual who likes to think very thoughtfully about his life.
Mm-hmm.
He's often very reflective of his time growing up in an area that, for many, Yellowstone is a place to escape to the outdoors and to see lots of places, of mountains, of creeks that you wouldn't normally get to see, and perhaps he's trying to get everybody more to the outdoors. And thinking back to his childhood, it seems like a very sort of reminiscent place that maybe he could put it at.
It's certainly, much of what you find in The Thrill of the Chase. There's a percentage of the book that's dedicated to his time in Yellowstone. And we actually did a video on the percentages of the book in which he dedicates to each state. It turns out that he talks about New Mexico, or his time in New Mexico, more than he does any other state. But following a close second is that area around Yellowstone. What bugged me about, and this is just me, I don't think even Shelley has may necessarily, we haven't had this conversation, but what bugged me about Yellowstone is it didn't sound like his. Yellowstone sounded like his dad's, like that was his territory. That's where they set up their home. That's where his dad met his mother. So the Yellowstone to me was part of his dad's legacy, and what he wanted, what all children want, is to establish their own territory. When he came to New Mexico, I felt like, well, it wasn't Texas. You've got to ask yourself, here's a man who just retired from the Air Force. He gets a retirement income. He can live wherever he wants. And he seemed to reminisce on his time in Temple. He seemed to reminisce a great deal on his time in Yellowstone. He had never spent a significant amount of time in New Mexico, but when given the choice of a place to live, the Yellowstone area, Montana, southern Montana, southeastern Montana, northwestern Wyoming, or Texas, right around the Lampasas. And I lived there for a while when I was at Fort Hood, and it's a beautiful part of Texas. It's called the Texas Hill Country. Of all those choices that he had at retirement, he chooses Santa Fe, New Mexico. So to me, that's a man who wants to put his own stamp on whatever it is that he's doing, not influenced by the Yellowstone or Temple of his father. That's my opinion.
Oh. That's great. Thanks. That's very helpful as we gather our spots and think this through even more before we go from Pittsburgh out west for boots on the ground this summer.
So is this going to be your first boots on the ground?
It is. Yeah, we've been studying it since for about a year and a half or so. And then we've just sort of narrowing different spots that we want to try and at least begin to check off.
Yeah.
But it's going from Pittsburgh out to the Colorado, Montana, and Wyoming area in New Mexico is
a big trip.
A summer vacation.
Yeah. So I would not care to try and dissuade you from going to Yellowstone and going to New Mexico instead. I think that if somebody's going to make a trip from the East Coast to look for the Forrest Fenn treasure, then Yellowstone is for a variety of reasons other than the possibility that the treasure is there, Yellowstone just has so much of its own character that it's worth going there for a summer vacation, whether you're looking for Fenn's treasure or not. So, and I think that's a good decision. And I think, as we all discover on our first boots on the ground, the problem once you're on the ground becomes very different from the problem you imagined it to be when you were sitting in the comfort of your living room. But you know, if it was me and I was making a trip from the East Coast west, I'd want to go to Yellowstone.
What's that video that we had that guy on in one of our panels? He made that video of him and his friends traveling across from the East Coast area.
Oh, they came from Florida.
And they went up through all of the treasure states, and they started in New Mexico and went north.
I think that's because they were coming from Florida.
Yeah.
What was his name? We interviewed him.
I don't remember.
I can't remember.
But check that out on YouTube.
It was a young man. They were college age, and his friends decided they were going to basically rough it in the truest sense, because they had one vehicle. They were going to head out west, and they were coming from Florida, and they had 2 weeks or 1 week, whatever. And in the process, they hit all 4 treasure states and had locations in each one. But they could afford that. You know, they could afford I don't mean afford it because they had a lot of money. They could afford it because, A, they had the time, and they were young, and they could afford to rough it, you know, and not worry about it. So they ate a lot of potato chips, apparently.
Yeah, I would watch that video because that might help you kind of make decisions on where you want to end up at.
Yeah. So let us know of your progress as you get closer to leaving. Stay in touch. Let us know how you're doing. And then, of course, when you find yourself, I don't know, when did you say you're planning to be out there?
We're looking for maybe early June.
Oh, well, there's another channel on here called, another YouTuber who covers the chase called Calazars. And he has a partner whose name is Kpro or Christy. She runs the Hint of Riches forum. And they're planning to have something called The Function in the Junction in West Yellowstone. And I don't remember the date. They told me the date.
June 22nd?
June 22nd. And it's going to be a gathering of Fenn searchers in that area around West Yellowstone. And they just came up with the idea a couple of weeks ago, and they're working through the details. Cynthia Meacham is going to be there. Shelley, Kevin, and I are going to try. We were planning a trip north, not for treasure hunting, but for retirement community analysis. So we're going to be in the area about that time. So check with them exactly when the function is. I think she's still in the room. Ask her when the function in the junction is, and maybe you guys could go out there then and
meet up with
a bunch of other searchers. Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds exciting.
Yeah. Take a look at it.
Well, thank you for doing this.
Our pleasure.
Wonderful.
Thanks for calling in. Good luck with your search.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Want to turn off the phones?
Yeah, phone lines are off.
So, Larry just had one quick question. How many Browns are there? How many Browns are there? Probably millions, but...
Yeah. There's only one correct. There's millions of Browns, and only one is correct.
Yeah.
So the ones that we've tried...
At beavers and brown trout and...
Bears, brown trout, beavers... lignite deposits where the color brown was first came from.
A big fall of brown rocks.
Yeah. The volcanic rock in the Rio Grande Basin, in the Rio Grande Rift. It's all brown.
Yeah, so. It's
okay. So ask me. That was only $200. We need an easier question. Okay.
All right.
Let me see. I'm gonna close the phone lines.
Browns are like opinions. Everyone's got one.
It's not you. It's me. It's what I'm going through.
Now wait a minute. Just hold on.
Bye-bye. Is this a fake hang-up?
Okay, somebody said earlier that our outro, our Crossing the River outro, isn't playing Desert Sun.
Yeah,
so
I saw that.
I just want to say, I've never noticed it on here. Let me just see if it's playing on here and it's something else. Hold on just a sec. So I'm going to play this outro. We're not actually outroing. I'm just trying to figure out what's going on.
Many Browns.
Oh, it's because it's off. That's why. Okay, fix that. All right.
Is everything off or just that
No.
one?
It was just that for some reason or the other, that particular.
Okay.
Yeah, was off. Okay. Thank you. I can't remember who it was that let me know. Timid Souls.
I know. I think he only made one comment, and I saw it too, but it was like, okay, but yeah.
Of significant importance because he said the music on our outro video was not playing, so I just fixed that from now on. The music on the outro.
So we
video.
appreciate when you guys, let us know, hey, the photos aren't showing up, or hey, your music's not playing, because a lot of times we don't know until
we can't
you
see
tell
it
us.
until the end. Yeah.
So we appreciate when you help us out with that stuff.
Let me see. So I don't have anything else.
And it's after 9, so I think it's time to get down the fiddle. Get down the bow. Kick off your shoes and you throw them on the floor. Kick off your shoes. Dance in the kitchen till the morning light.
And
thank you so much for being here with us tonight for our Hump Day Hoedown and for AGK Media, A Gypsy's Kiss, whatever it's called now. I'm Shelley Carney.
And for Gypsy's Kiss, I'm Toby Younis. Thanks for joining us tonight. We will see you Friday at 1 p.m. for our question show. We haven't decided on what the question is, so if you can think of a question that we need to ask on our Friday show that would be of general interest, put it in the comments box below, and I'll use that. So.
And then, of course, Friday Fandango at 7 p.m. on Friday.
Yeah.